What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is Ready to Love, season 6, episode 10. I think we're on. So we pick up where we left off. I told you guys exactly what I said was going to happen is what happened. Tommy steps in. He says, "Listen, what's more important, I know some of y'all have made connections, yada, yada, yada. But in order to make these connections, you have to be here. You have to be present. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it, LJ, you are eliminated. You're not ready to love. I wish you all the best." Because he said you got to be present. You got to be in it to win it. And so that pretty much ended things for Tronika. I'm going to tell y'all at the end of this what I think should have happened. But we'll get there. So Tommy ends up playing a game with them almost like the newlywed game. But, the ladies got to pick who they wanted to be their partner, and he said the partners are going to overlap, and that's fine, and basically the last couple standing will win a special date. So Tronika chose Randall. What's her name? Janika. She chose Randall. Kayla chose Mike. Brandy chose Mike. Of course, Sharice chose Samson, and what's her name? The mean girl. She chose Swayze. So they were asking them questions like, what's your favorite ice cream? What's your shoe size? What does Randall prefer, romance or whatever. And what I found to be interesting was that in Michael's case and in Randall's case, the person that they had the strongest connection with was the person that was eliminated first. So Brandy answered the question wrong first, and it was a really basic question. And I'm sorry. And what's her name? Jamaica. She answered the question wrong first. So Sharice and Samson were eliminated because she didn't know his shoe size. Child, she said, "Listen, we're going to have to date a lot longer for me to know his shoe size. You know what I mean." Swaggy and what is her name? The mean girl, child, whatever. They were eliminated the way it was edited. It may have lasted longer. But he was upset because the one that she was eliminated on, he was like, "Man, these are the things we've talked about." So it makes me feel like maybe they're not listening. And I just thought that was interesting. So it came down to Randall and Tronika, and then Mike and Kayla. Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. Kayla finally got one wrong. So the special date ended up going to Randall and Tronika. So they had almost like a spa experience. They had their feet washed. They did a staring exercise when you stare at each other, and Randall was like, "This ain't really my stilo, but this is definitely something that Tronika's into, so I'm open to it." And he said he felt like it did make him pull closer to her, and almost made him wish that he had put a little more effort into getting to know her early on in the process. But I almost feel like he was like, "Listen, this is sort of too late. Like where we are in the process now, it's a little too late for me to kind of invest in this." But I feel like he wished he had. The rest of the people are inside having a good time, and Kayla is feeling real weird because everybody is linked up but her. The two guys that she's connected to have stronger connections, and that's who they're spending time with. That's where their focus is. Randall, hell, he was juggling 3 of y'all, and then Michael, who really was only focused on Brandy. Hell, they shared a room together. Kayla, I understand it's a game and it's about making it to the end and all of that. But at the end of the day, if I showed up and one of the people that I said I had a connection with was actually sharing a room with another person, it was kind of like last season with Joy and Clifton and I can't remember her name. I'm not trying to be rude. I just don't remember her name. Once you see that they consulted each other on what they were going to wear, and they already decided they were going to share a room together, basically what it says to me is, I've made my decision. I may not have officially made my decision, but I have staked my claim. So at the end of the day, I hear where you coming from, Kayla, that it was uncomfortable and you feel like, things didn't really go the way you wanted them to go, and you feel like the guys were kind of dismissive to you and rude. But at the end of the day, girl, see, this is, and I really feel like they can't self-eliminate anymore, but I really feel like this is where I would have walked away. I would have went to Tommy after the weekend and said, I appreciate the opportunity, but, you know, my strongest connections that I thought I had this weekend showed me that they really have other people that they have a stronger connection with. And I don't really want to, like, look like I'm, you know, at this point, it's looking imbalanced. You know what I'm saying? But that's me. So, another thing we saw was Samson and Sharice had a date. He came to her salon to get a facial and for them to talk a little bit more. Now, she keeps saying that he won't open up, that his walls are thick, his walls are up. Now, in this conversation, he did seem defensive. But I don't know. I guess we're not, at least for me, I guess I'm just not seeing these where he's not opening up. I mean, he was like, listen, it's only been a couple of weeks, you know, it takes me a little bit longer. And I just think for a lot of people it does, but I also understand this process. So Sharice is really trying to push it to a place where I guess Samson isn't comfortable with going. So I feel like this is pretty much the end of them. Next week, the power has shifted, so the ladies can eliminate next week. I kind of see that happening. Although, Sharice, if y'all eliminate Samson, girl, you might as well leave because you ain't made a connection with nobody else. We saw Randall have a conversation. Let me go back. I kind of skipped ahead a little bit. Randall had a conversation with Jamaica before they left the house, letting her know, listen, I don't know what else you want from me. Like, I have made it clear that you are my priority. You are the person that I feel I have the strongest connection with. And so I'm just not really sure where all this was coming from this weekend, you know. Mike and Brandy, you know, they said that they had a good time. They didn't want to leave and they would love to do it again when it was just the two of them. But as soon as Brandy pulled off, Mike rolled up on Kayla and was like, I'm sorry things didn't go well this weekend, but I would love to maybe try to work things out. I mean, not work things out, but, you know, hang out a little bit more, whatever. And Kayla was like, I mean, that was real cool for him to come up to me, but it was kind of like, why'd you have to wait for Brandy to leave to say something? Well, girl, you know why. You know why. At the end of the day, it comes down to the lounge. It's the guy's turn. And they're talking to Tommy. I feel like that's it. I think that's everything. No, Kayla went on a date. No, Kayla went on a date with Michael or Randall. Child, hold on, let me double check. I don't remember. Child, it was Randall. And she's kind of let Randall know that, you know, the way things went that weekend, it didn't make her feel good, you know, and, you know, she felt like she was an afterthought for everybody, and she sort of was kind of put on the back burner. And, you know, Randall was trying to tell her, listen, I'm really trying to figure all of this out. Like, I do have a connection with you, and I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm sorry if I didn't, you know, spend enough time, or I didn't make you feel like you were part of my decision, I guess. But again, Kayla, I respect the fact that you held your dignity through this episode, but I would have walked away. Because I just would have walked away. Anyway, they get to the lounge and, you know, they're talking to Tommy and, you know, basically the names that come up are Trinika's, Kayla's, that are like the main names that come up. Everybody else has sort of made their decision. Like, let's be honest. Trinika's strongest connection was LJ, and he's gone. So, of course, they take them out to eat. Michael takes Kayla. Randall takes Trinika. And Trinika, you know, the last time Trinika thought she was getting ready to get eliminated, she was very rude, I felt like. And she was rude again this time. I mean, you know, Randall was like, listen, like, I'm trying to talk to you. Like, I'm trying to tell her what's going on. Let her know, you know, that she's a good person. It's just not a strong enough connection with anybody. And she was like, well, I feel disrespected. I feel hurt because I feel like he should have fought harder for me. Now, we know that things that happen in the lounge does leak out. So I don't know if she's basing that off of information that she was given that told her, listen, Randall didn't even fight for you. or she's just assuming that he didn't fight for her because she's actually going home. But in my mind, I'm thinking, Tranika, you had to know that you were going to be in the bottom. You had to know that it was a strong possibility. You said it yourself. Once LJ was eliminated, you said it yourself. So nobody wants to be pushed aside. Nobody wants to be eliminated. Nobody wants to be told you're not wanted. So I get all of those emotions. But at the end of the day, girl, you had to know you were going home. Now, I'm going to be honest and tell you, this really should have been a double elimination. I honestly feel like this should have been a double elimination. Randall has made his decision for the most part. Michael has made his decision. Swayze has made his decision. And vice versa. I don't want to make it seem like the men, but and vice versa. Sharice and Samson, they're together, but that ain't gonna last. Okay, so I don't understand why are we keeping Kayla and why will we keep Tranika. At this point, it should have been a double elimination. Both of them go home, and then let's deal with these last 4 couples and see what happens. Okay, but ain't nobody called me to produce the show, so it is what it is. Tranika went home. Kayla still get another week. Next week the ladies are in charge, which means that Kayla gonna be here at least another 2 weeks. And I just don't know why. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.